Everything we do is above board.
That's what Kenneth Stephen, or Steve, Landers told the I-Team in December of 2021. But in reality, federal authorities say he was defrauding taxpayers out of hundreds of thousands of COVID relief dollars, using it to buy a gold Rolex, possibly this watch he was wearing during a previous interview, and an $87,000 vintage Jaguar Roadster. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, Landers submitted false information and documents in 2020 and 2021 to receive 7 PPP loans totaling $910,000. IRS Assistant Special Agent in Charge Tara Reid says she can't reveal how investigators learned about Landers, but notes it's not uncommon for members of the public to tip them off.
Every single person who chooses to break the law and defraud the government, we will find and we will prosecute to the fullest extent.
Prosecutors say Landers used the money meant to keep businesses afloat and people employed as a personal piggy bank, withdrawing more than $100,000 cash, writing checks to himself, and padding his personal account. They also say he used the cash infusions to pay down his debt, including paying off his mortgages on his waterfront home and Northside tire business. Reid says Landers forged tax documents when he applied for loans on behalf of 4 corporate entities he controlled, including the American Fallen Veterans Service Project nonprofit. Its website asks visitors to help support the families of our fallen veterans with your generous car donation. Federal prosecutors say the organization's bank account went from $0 to $200,000 when it got approved for a COVID relief loan.
IRS workers are always making sure we pay what we owe when it comes to our taxes. That is their job. But 5 current and former IRS workers out of the Memphis office are facing lots of jail time tonight. The feds say they committed fraud with our tax dollars by illegally obtaining COVID relief money. And wait until you hear how they spent it. The IRS Service Center on Getwell in southeast Memphis is a massive complex employing thousands of workers, but 5 of them are accused of defrauding the PPP program and other loans made possible by the CARES Act passed during the height of the pandemic. The feds say 46-year-old Brian Salisbury of Memphis fraudulently obtained $171,400 in loans. They say he spent the money on a Mercedes-Benz and put the rest in a personal investment account. Courtney Quincy Westmoreland, 38, of Cordova, is accused of illegally obtaining $16,050 in unemployment insurance and $11,500 in loans. The feds say she bought luxury clothing with that money. The feds also say 35-year-old Fatina Hewitt of Olive Branch fraudulently obtained $28,900 in loan funds she said she needed for a fashion business. But investigators say she instead bought Gucci clothing and took a trip to Las Vegas. 27-year-old Roderick DeMarco White II of Memphis got $66,666 in loan funds, money the feds say he spent on personal items including a Gucci satchel. And finally, 56-year-old Tina Humes of Memphis is accused of getting $123,612 in illegal loan money. She also made trips to Las Vegas and bought some nice jewelry, according to the indictment. Well, the last 3 defendants have all pleaded guilty to the charges against them. That may help them when it comes to sentencing, which, by the way, each count of wire fraud can bring 20 years in federal prison, and money laundering can bring another 10 years. Federal prosecutors say they will not tolerate anyone abusing the public trust by abusing pandemic relief programs.
A tip involving 2 taxpayer-funded loans took us to Darlington, South Carolina. City Councilwoman and her son both benefited from tens of thousands of dollars from Paycheck Protection Program loans. Our chief investigator, Jody Barr, set out to figure out whether this elected official truly owned a business with paychecks to protect. That's tonight's Politicians Payout as a Queen City News investigation.
So this is the big boy here. This is the granddad. This is what we call a Dixie. Well, you from the South. Dixie chopper.
Cisco Reed's still enjoying the fruits of his PPP loan.
50-inch zero turn.
7 years ago, Reed started Elaine's Son Lawn Care, an after work and weekend gig he calls his side hustle.
One-stop shop.
Reed applied for and was awarded a $20,832 PPP loan in May 2021, a year into the pandemic. Small Business Administration records show Reed asked for the loan to protect one paycheck in his sole proprietorship.
It was able to help me to go from a push to a zero turn. And in this business, you got to have a zero turn. There's no way around it. You got to have good weed eaters.
So this was bought with a loan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people may look at this and they say, wait a minute, Cisco Reed, the title of the loan was Paycheck Protection Program, not Equipment Purchase Program.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to that?
But it was for small businesses.
Federal records show Reed's loan was forgiven in June 2022.
I know in this PPP loan era during that time, there was a lot of scams, schemes, but you can see that I gave document that I had the business before PPP loan, I had it during the PPP loan, and I have it after the PPP loan.
How you doing, Miss Reed? Hey, I'm Jody Barr with Queen City News.
Hey,
Hey.
I do apologize. One of these.
Oh, okay. Well, I got hugs too. I give hugs.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
can we talk to you about this PPP loan?
Well, you know, I got 5 minutes.
I'll only take one. The PPP loan database also shows Darlington City Councilwoman Elaine Reed, Cisco Reed's mother, received a $20,833 PPP loan. We filed record requests with City Hall and the state looking for corporation filings and business licenses. The state had no records for the Reeds, but the city provided copies of business licenses for Cisco Reed, one for 2019, nothing in 2020, and another issued to him in June 2021, 3 weeks after the government approved his PPP loan.
Make sure all the newspapers get this.
But the city had no record showing the councilwoman ever held a business license there. We asked her to schedule an interview with us, but she wouldn't. We found her outside City Hall last month.
And I was doing it to just kind of supplement my son. And his is Elaine's son's, and that's how it was spent.
So you got a PPP loan, but you don't have an employee, you don't own a business.
Well, I do have an employee at that time. I just, paid them to be able to do the work. And that was to be able to help with the loan, the record, do the.
Where is the trouble when you talk about PPP loan fraud?
That's a real good question, right? The fraud in PPP loans is not in how the money was spent, basically. The fraud is in the application for the loan or the application for the forgiveness from the loan. Either exaggerating in the application for the loan or exaggerating in the application for forgiveness or just outright lying. And when you see that, that is fraud.
I did not even expect to get it. I was surprised.
But if you don't have a business to support applying, did you fill out the loan paperwork?
Yeah.
And did you certify on there that you had a business and that you were in business?
But I was doing it because I worked with my son.
The loan, she says, was to pay 2 men who work for her around her home. The PPP loan database shows the councilwoman listed her business type as self-employed individuals with 1 employee. She reported her business classification as lawn and garden tractor and home lawn and garden equipment manufacturing, a business that she listed existing more than 2 years. But the public database does not show the business name. It seems as though if there's not a business in your name and then you got a PPP loan, that may be a problem. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll just have to get with the council because you got a bug on you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I didn't even know he had applied. Didn't have a clue. And then we were saying, it was just so much mixed up.
You think y'all might have had one loan too many?
For real. So as far as what you want to know, I don't know if it's just to what.
What we want to know is did you get a loan? Did you get almost 21,000?
It's public knowledge. I got a loan.
But is it something you should have had,
well, see,
given the fact that you don't own a business?
Exactly. If that's what you want to do, according to whatever, maybe not. I just filled the paperwork. I was given that.
Who gave it to you?
Lord,
Who gave you the application or told you about it?
Oh, I got that. Gosh, there were so many of that around, I don't even remember them.
Cisco Reed told us someone also approached him about the PPP loan opportunity, but he too could not remember who that was.
I know we didn't go to the same people, so.
Who did you use to help you with yours?
I went to a tax service. Oh, I don't know the name.
In Darlington?
I want to say, matter of fact, I want to say in Hartsfield.
You don't remember who that
No, I don't
or
remember
where it was?
I don't remember who it was.
We asked both REITs to help clear up these questions by showing us a copy of their PPP records. The government required applicants to, in good faith, give the details of their business, payroll amounts, and the number of employees who they paid payroll taxes for, including any independent contractors for whom they filed IRS Form 1099 miscellaneous. The government requires borrowers to hang on to employment records for 4 years and 3 years for all other records. Can you share your application for that loan with us?
I can find it.
A month after this interview, the councilwoman tells us she still has not found the copy of her PPP loan records. She did tell us she's working on getting her loan forgiven.
You know,
If I could
because
see the application, that might clear this up.
Clear what up? See, I don't know what the problem is.
Well, the problem is that you got a business, a PPP loan to protect paychecks for a business that you have, and we got no record of you having a business.
Okay, so that's the fact.
Both Cisco Reed and his mother Elaine contend they followed the third-party advice that led them to their loans.
Your job is to kind of defame or show the bad side of the negative. There's no negative.
We wouldn't have come here if that was our job, if that's what we're after.
Sweetheart, everything, my intentions are all good. They asking for.
I spoke with both Councilwoman Elaine Reed and her son Cisco earlier this week. Both tell me they cannot find their PPP loan applications or their forgiveness paperwork. As we told you in the report, Cisco Reed's loan is forgiven, but the Small Business Administration's online records show Elaine Reed's loan is not paid off and not yet forgiven.